They don't teach you that your mind is a battlefield. No, they teach you to decorate it, fill it with distractions, pack it with comforts, likes, attention, and external noise, until it becomes a room you can't even hear yourself inside. But you were never meant to be a spectator in your own head. The world has billions of weapons, but the sharpest blade is still your own thought. If you don't govern it, it will govern you. It will turn against you, use your fears as fuel, paint false threats in places of peace, and convince you to sabotage every good thing that comes your way. If you don't rule your mind, someone else will. Society, trauma, manipulators, old voices and new faces. But if you conquer it, if you dare to take the throne inside your skull, then nothing, and I mean nothing, can bend you again. Most people fear their own thoughts. That's why they're always running, scrolling, binging, drinking, smoking, talking, pleasing, anything to not be alone in the kingdom of their own mind. But kings are made in silence. You must face the throne room when it's empty. Walk into the chamber and hear the voices echo, the doubt, the shame, the guilt, the betrayal. Sit with it, not to suffer it, but to master it. To interrogate every shadow until you know its name, its origin, its purpose. Weak men run from their thoughts. Strong men command them. Because if your mind trembles, your world will crumble. You could have all the gold, all the beauty, all the applause, but if your mind is unruly, you will still feel like a beggar. Rule the mind, and everything outside becomes a puppet in your play. Understand this. The enemy doesn't always knock on your door. Sometimes it whispers from inside. A thought that says, "You're not enough." A memory that claws back into the light. A voice from childhood still dictating your self-worth. These are not harmless echoes. They are commands, and if left unchecked, they become your compass. The dangerous thing about an undisciplined mind is that it doesn't just mislead you, it convinces you that it's telling the truth. The Joker in me doesn't fear the chaos outside. I laugh at it, because the real chaos, the kind that burns empires, starts with a whisper between the ears. And if you don't choose your thoughts, they will choose you. Not the best of them, the worst, the loudest, the most familiar pain disguised as guidance. You want to change your life? Don't change your surroundings first. Change the voice narrating your decisions. You must burn every inherited belief that was handed to you by someone too broken to know better. Authority figures, ex-lovers, teachers, religious figures. Every opinion that told you who you should be while suffocating who you could be. Your mind is not a cage, but if you fill it with lies, it becomes one. Tear down those walls. Question every thought that doesn't feel like freedom. Rule doesn't mean control through fear. It means leading with intention, with discipline, with awareness. The mind doesn't respond to force. It responds to consistency. If you teach it who you are every day, through repetition, through focus, through refusal to entertain self-sabotage, it will kneel. And once it kneels, the world follows. The problem is, people want the world to change first. They want respect without boundaries, peace without solitude, power without discomfort. But the outer world is always just a reflection of the inner one. If your thoughts are scattered, your relationships will be chaotic. If your beliefs are weak, your decisions will be cowardly. If your focus is brittle, your goals will always remain on the horizon, laughing as they fade. But if you get sharp, if you become cruel to your distractions, brutal with your excuses, unforgiving to your patterns, then suddenly the fog lifts. Suddenly people treat you differently, not because they've changed, because you have. Because when a man rules his mind, he becomes unpredictable, unshakable, unmanipulable, and that terrifies the world. Let's not romanticize the process. It's ugly. Ruling the mind means sitting in withdrawal, letting go of pleasure for power, killing old versions of yourself who only knew how to please others, walking away from familiar pain that once made you feel important. It means staring into the abyss of your own failures and not turning away. That's why so few do it. Not because they can't, but because they won't. They prefer the illusion of control over the cost of transformation. But you're not built for illusion. You're built for conquest. And conquest starts within. Start small. Track every lie your mind tells you. Audit your thoughts like a tyrant inspecting the gates of his kingdom. Starve what weakens you. Feed what sharpens you. Every day, you either train your mind or it trains you. People who rule their minds walk differently. Their words are fewer, but heavier. Their gaze is still, but surgical. They don't need to be the loudest in the room because they own the room. Not because they're suppressing emotion, but because they've domesticated it. Their thoughts no longer bark at every noise. Their focus is no longer hijacked by every distraction. They sit in chaos and remain untouched. That's real power, not the one that screams on the surface, but the one that moves mountains in silence. When your mind becomes your soldier, your servant, your blade, you don't react to life. You command it. You don't chase peace. You dictate the terms. And those who tried to break you before now stare from a distance, unable to find the same buttons they once pressed so easily. Mastering your mind isn't just about success. It's about survival. Because there will come days when no one claps for you, when your phone is dry, when your name fades from their mouths. And in those moments, your thoughts are either your sanctuary or your executioner. You need a mind that speaks life when the world goes silent. You need a mind that whispers, "Keep going," when your knees shake. That doesn't panic when things fall apart, because it's trained to see the bigger picture. A mind ruled by you won't betray you in the dark. It won't fold when the storm hits. It becomes your closest weapon, your strongest ally. And most importantly, it becomes the one thing no one can ever take from you again. So build it, brick by brutal brick, through discomfort, through repetition, through ruthless clarity. Study your weaknesses like blueprints. Speak to yourself like a warrior. Expect resistance. Expect relapse. But never surrender. You are not here to be at the mercy of your past, your habits, your fears. You are here to reign over them. And once you do, once you sit on the throne inside your own skull, everything outside of you starts bending. Life stops feeling random. People stop holding power over you. Your triggers become trophies, and the voice inside your head stops mocking you and starts obeying. You don't need to control the world, just the voice that tells you who you are. And when you master that, you don't just live in the world, you rule it. Unshaken, unapologetic, unforgettable. The mind, once ruled, becomes your empire. Not the type made of lands or laws, but of direction, unyielding, pure direction. No second guessing, no hesitation dressed as logic. Only forward motion with eyes that do not blink and a spine that does not bend. The world will try to lure you again. It will wave old temptations like perfume under your nose. It will dangle comfort like a leash. But when your mind is yours, truly yours, you smell the trap before it's baited. You see through the facade before they finish smiling. That's the power of sovereignty. You become untouchable not because you hide, but because you no longer need to be seen. Your movements confuse those who only speak in impulse. Your discipline terrifies those who only speak in cravings. And that terror, that's your shield. That's your signature. You don't have to raise your voice to dominate. You simply have to decide. Because the world doesn't break the man who has mastered his inner landscape. Throw him betrayal, he learns discernment. Throw him loss, he cultivates detachment. Throw him failure, he builds resilience. Every attack becomes architecture. Every pain becomes protocol. You don't need to predict the chaos when you've already ruled the storm within. Your life becomes a reflection of that inner monarchy. Structured, steady, sovereign. So when people come with games, you don't play. You watch. When they come with pressure, you don't crack. You breathe. Because your world isn't ruled by theirs anymore. It's ruled by something far more dangerous. You. And once the world realizes that it can no longer seduce, manipulate, or define you, it obeys you. Quietly. Begrudgingly. Completely. That is what it means to rule your mind. That is what it means to rule your world.